Hello friends, this relatively good short film is from Germany, which is about the life of a lady named Toni and her son named Luca. On a perfect day, Toni, the young lady, was taking a bath in the bathroom and was cleaning her body with water. Her son Luca calls her to get out of the bathroom early and take Luca to the Paris bus to go to his father for 2 weeks. Toni is divorced from her husband and lives independently. As you can see, they are getting ready to leave in their hot car to get to the bus. Luca sees the pack of cigarettes inside his mother's car and he says that you said you quit smoking. So why is there a pack of cigarettes in the car? Toni also says that I left this envelope and it will arrive at the station a long time ago. They get off and try to get to the bus. They reach the bus. Luca chats with the bus driver before boarding. The bus starts and Luca goes to Paris to his father from his mother. Toni is a staff member of Miramar Berlin Hotel and she goes to work every day. She is very late today. Toni rushes to the hotel and asks her colleague Felix to park his car. Felix disagrees, but Toni confides and Felix agrees. Toni enters the hotel. Zielinski is the manager of the hotel crew. He is a passionate and angry man. He looks for Toni to see where she is. The hotel kitchen is always very busy. Zielinski is looking for Toni a lot, looking everywhere to find her. He asks everyone, but no one knows where Toni is. He gets angry after looking for Toni. He finds it. He takes Toni to a corner and starts inviting Toni. Zielinski tells her that you are very irresponsible and you can't make any excuses and that you are late is unforgivable. He tells her that you should concentrate or I will fire you. Zielinski later forgives Toni's anger. He gives her another chance. He tells Toni that he likes to eat you. Toni doesn't say anything. Zielinski says to never forget this was the last chance. Zielinski tells her to go to work. Toni goes to the dressing room to put on her work clothes. She feels bad, sits down and cries. Julia, a beautiful girl who is Toni's colleague, sees Toni. She tells Toni what happened. Why are you crying? Are you okay? Toni says that I'm fine, nothing happened, I just sweated a little. Julia sits in front of Toni and says don't lie to me, tell the truth, what happened? Julia hugs him and Toni tells Julia that she hates himself. Julia says why, what's the problem? Toni says I'm worried about Luca. I can't afford it, I'm worried about Luca's future. Julia says that she is an independent boy and unique. Toni starts talking and says to Julia, don't make fun of me, I want to tell you something that is strange. Julia also says that I'm not kidding. Toni says that I haven't had sex since I divorced Luca's father. I want to experience that pleasure again after 7 years. Julia says, why didn't you tell me until now? Toni says, why should I have? Julia says I will make a plan for you to enjoy and be with someone. You tell Toni that you should enjoy your life and live and be optimistic about life and enjoy your life with Luca and they kiss. Julia goes to the bathroom. Some time later, Toni was working when the general manager of the hotel came. He complains to Toni and says, Mrs. Toni Marin, it is your duty. Why didn't you do it right? And he gives a serious warning to Toni. Toni promises and says that she is sorry and that she will do all her duties properly. After the general manager of the hotel left, Zielinski hugs and comforts Toni for a while. Toni also likes Zielinski's work. Toni also hugs Zielinski. Zielinski then offers Toni a cigarette. Toni tells him that I quit and I don't smoke anymore. Toni goes ahead of Zielinski to take care of her duties at the hotel. Toni services the rooms. She performs all her duties from one room to another, arranges the beds in the rooms, she changes the drinks and wines in the rooms. She enters one of the rooms with a whole Red Bull drink and serves the room. There were many people in the room. As you can see, they were busy. Toni gets a strange feeling, looks at everyone and leaves the room. All hotel rooms are serviced and the turn of the room comes last. She enters room 823, calls and asks for permission, but no one answers. The room is tidy and clean. She looks around the room. She realizes that the owner of the room is in the bathroom and enters a room he should not have entered. And looks at the personal belongings of the owner of the room. As you can see, she goes to the bedroom and a sound comes from outside the room. She gets scared and freaks out. The phone rings and Tony gets stressed because she shouldn't have entered the bedroom. The owner of the room enters the room and Tony remains motionless and looks. The owner of the room is a blind man and does not notice Tony's presence in the room. As the phone rang, the man answered his phone. He is talking to his friend and says that he is going to the restaurant where they were together, but the dead man is in the room. He is getting dressed, Tony is standing. They're motionless. The dead man is putting on his clothes, looking for his shoes, when suddenly his hand touches Tony's leg, and he notices Tony's presence in the room. He touches Tony's leg and slowly moves his hand to Tony's leg. And raises his hand, he gently touches Tony's body and Tony remains silent and motionless. Tony and the guy make them feel good. The blind man puts his hand on Tony's face and kisses his lips. Tony also kisses the man's lips. The man puts his hand to Tony's waist and unties his clothes and takes off Tony's coat. The man takes off his coat and he throws Tony on the bed. He slowly approaches Tony and approaches her. Tony puts her hand on the back of the man's back. And they start caressing and making love to each other. He feels and enjoys again the feeling that Tony had not felt for a long time. This beautiful movie ends. Thank you, please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy our other content.